At Knott's Berry Farm, Aero Development opened the first modern steel roller coaster to invert riders in 1975. Corkscrew was a fantastic coaster for its time, and it featured a layout that included a 62-foot drop, a short bank turn, and a double corkscrew. However, Corkscrew wouldn't reign as the only coaster in California to feature a double corkscrew for long.
What a day, what a place, what a smile on your face. We're Marriott's Great America. What a day, what a place, what a smile on your face. We're Marriott's Great America, Great America.
1 year later, Marriott's Great America opened, and with it, Aero Development's new custom looper. Turn of the Century was painted light blue on opening day. It interacted with the park's railroad and was extremely popular. The coaster featured a maximum height of 102 feet and a 90-foot drop. After the first drop, the coaster traveled over 2 legendary airtime hills.
So the ride has loops now, but before that there were 2 large ejector airtime hills there. And I've talked to many people who grew up going to the park. In fact, a friend of mine worked here its opening season and worked around it on the Demon. And people who have been on it with the airtime ejector hill said today there is actually no ride that matches the intensity and the airtime you actually got on those ejector hills. When they added the loops, they added a tunnel. And the tunnel is partially there to actually fill in the space, otherwise they would have needed like 5 loops to get to the brakes over there, and that would have not ever happened. In fact, there's no coaster today that has 5 loops in a row like that.
After going through those awesome airtime hills, the ride turned around and did something a lot of people had still never experienced on a roller coaster before. It went through a double corkscrew, and to this day, that double corkscrew is still incredibly smooth and fun. For the 1979 season, the corkscrews of Turn of the Century were painted red, but that was a minuscule change in comparison to what was coming the following year.
Brace yourself. We're going to take you on Great America's startling new Demon.
What a day, what a place.
Neat ride! Do it again!
We're Marriott's Great America, Great America.
Demon was the newest, scariest, and craziest ride to come to both Marriott's Great America parks in 1980. The ride made a few big changes and was soon very popular among park goers.
Turn of the Century already had 2 corkscrews. When the ride was converted to Demon, they added 2 vertical loops. This made the ride the most inverting coaster in California.
Many riders would hardly recognize the newly black painted ride with the drastically different looking layout. The ride now included tunnels, fog, new trains with fantastic decals on them, rockwork around the vertical loops, and a huge demonic rock structure before the corkscrews. After the vertical loops, riders entered a tunnel that featured cool lighting effects that surrounded the speeding train. For those waiting, a 30-minute queue loop played. This loop included the custom Demon song that played frequently, spooky noises, and a radio host. The queue had white wooden handrails and fences. Guests could take in the vertical loops and the rockwork around them while they waited in line. In fact, the rockwork was slightly late and the ride opened before the rockwork around the second loop was completed. When the ride originally opened, 3 flags were flown at the top of Demon's lift hill: the Demon logo, the Marriott's Great America logo, and the American flag.
So the Demon at Great America is special for a number of reasons. For one, it was built right here in our backyard in Mountain View, California, which is just across the bay from where we are right now. And so it has a really local tie-in to the Bay Area, which is a really neat touch. Of course, the loops are very important to the ride. It has a tunnel. The corkscrews are important as well because it was the first roller coaster with corkscrews in Northern California. So not only are the loops important, but the corkscrews as well. And it's amazing that it's been here for 40 years. Over 40 years, and it's still a very popular ride to this day.
I think for me, I just really enjoy riding a classic ride, even though it's seen some changes over the years. For me, this feels like classic Aero. So I have to give it a ride every time just for the history of it, to appreciate it for what it is.
During the Paramount Era, the Demon began to change rapidly. The rails were painted orange due to the fatigue of the rocks around the second loop, and because of an incident in Gurnee, Illinois, where a train on the Demon became stuck upside down on one of the vertical loops. Paramount decided to remove the element around 1998. After the vertical loops, a few rowdy guests got it in their head to throw rocks at the stunning lighting effects in the tunnel. After multiple incidents of people hitting the light bulbs and breaking them on the ride, the decision was made to completely remove all of the lights in the tunnel. Unfortunately, it seems there are no plans to bring the lights back to the Demon anytime soon. However, it has been stated it could possibly be done in the future. Over time, the pump that kept the blood red waterfall running grew old and increasingly difficult to maintain. Sometime during the park's Paramount era, the pump was shut off and the effect was no longer maintained, leaving behind a small, stagnant pond. In 2017, for their 10th haunt, California's Great America announced something big. The Demon was being reignited at night with special lighting in the first tunnel, projected gobos in the second tunnel, projection mapping on the demonic rock before the corkscrews, the blood red waterfall, along with a 30-foot flame. Another addition, Demon Reignited had a brand new cue song.
So in fall 2017 for Halloween Haunt, they overlaid the ride with something called Demon Reignited. And not only did they bring back flamethrowers, lighting effects, and a custom song that kind of paid homage to the original Demon song. So we took all that and we decided to kind of film a little documentary called Demon Reignited the Movie. This was a partnership with our friends at Inside CGA, and it sort of chronicled park guests going through the park and being followed by this creature which ends up being the Demon. We get on the ride and he's screaming through the whole ride. He gets off the ride and he thinks he's safe, and then the Demon attacks him from behind. But it was a really cool project because we got to film while the ride was operating at night. We got to see the flamethrower by the corkscrews, all the people riding, the lighting effects. It was a really neat opportunity to be able to go behind the scenes, but also to get up close to such a historic ride such as the Demon.
Unfortunately, Demon Reignited would not return for the 2018 haunt season. After over 40 years of operation, the Demon holds a special place in many of Bay Area residents' hearts.
The Demon's special because it's one of Great America's very first roller coasters, and it's gone through a few changes over the years where the airtime hills have been replaced with loops. That's kind of unusual for rides to get that sort of transformation, so it makes it quite unique for that. Also, these Arrow roller coasters are pretty old these days. Obviously, we don't build any more Arrow rides now because the company's gone out of business. So it's nice to have a classic coaster still around that we can ride every day of the year.
Right, so I remember when I was growing up, watching this ride, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to go upside down. There's no way I'm ever going to ride this. And then in 2002, I was like, okay, I'm tall enough to ride this. I think I'll do it. And I was like, not excited. When I got to the front, I was like, I still don't want to do this. But it was my first looping roller coaster. And ever since that, it really kind of kick-started me going on bigger rides. So I really attribute this ride to kind of getting me started on some of the thrill rides I've gone on since then.
For me, the first time I rode it was maybe 2 years ago at Halloween Haunt. I definitely think some of my favorite memories would be riding it when it was Demon Reignited and listening to the song over and over in the queue, which I often quote. I wish that it was still there, but it's fondly remembered.
As such a beloved attraction, many people hope that the future of the Demon is bright.
So in terms of the future of the Demon, I hope the park continues to maintain it, continues to improve it. I hope they at some point will actually bring back the effects in a permanent fashion rather than doing their Halloween Haunt overlay. I think that was a great start. But the ride still runs really well. I ride it every time. It's one of my favorite rides at the park, and I just hope they keep up the good work with it because it's really an important part of Great America's history.
So one of the great things about the Demon is, even though it's one of the older rides at Great America, it's still really fun. So I hope it's going to be around for a lot longer. Even though as new rides come along, Demon will stand the test of time and still delight park fans every day of the year.
Have you ever seen the Demon? Have you ever heard him scream? Is the Demon what he seems, but just a bad, bad dream in your mind? You're gonna find out about the Demon.